Welcome. Let's get started. Thank you for coming today. As we have said, if you would like to listen in Ukrainian or Russian, please locate that on your Zoom control, and we will post about that a couple more times as folks come in as well. Today's session is on credit scores, accessing loans, and insurance. This is our fifth Ukrainian support convening session. My name is Hannah Messick. I'm with Solvera Consulting, who the state is partnering with for their Ukrainian support project. We host sessions the second and fourth Thursday of each month through the beginning of November. The next session will also be in English, Ukrainian, and Russian, specifically for Ukrainians and their sponsors. And it will be on understanding temporary protected status, asylum, and UHP statuses, as well as the benefits associated with each one. We've received a lot of questions on that topic. The session after that will be specifically for County Department of Human Assistance and Social Services staff regarding navigating the various new statuses of TPS and UHP. If you are a media or not a service provider or UHP or sponsor, we ask you to please step away. The session is specifically designed for those serving UHPs and sponsors and the UHPs and sponsors themselves. To set expectations for today, we will be talking about general credit information, who to enroll, how to enroll, things like that. You will receive this PowerPoint in English, Russian, and Ukrainian after the session. However, we will not be talking about, and please do not share in the question and answer, any personally identifiable information, or know that we are today not talking about the immigration statuses and higher education, taxes, things like that in today's session, but will be in the future. A few reminders. We have all participants on mute. Please select your preferred language. At any time during the sessions, you can ask questions, and we encourage you to using the chat box. You can ask in whatever language you're most comfortable with. If a question in the chat box resonates with you, go ahead and give it a like, an upvote, and that will let us know that many people share that question. At the end of each section, there will be a live question and answer. And finally, at the end, we have a survey because we really value your feedback and want to know what you would like to see in future topics. So today you are hearing from the host, Solvera. You're hearing from Katya and Dima from Nova, Ukraine. You'll be hearing from Maria, Senior Program Officer with the International Rescue Committee. And then you'll also be hearing from Amy and Daria with the Department of Insurance for the state of California. Today, we'll be talking about credit scores, loan products, auto insurance, and if time, how to avoid scams and fraud. So let's get started with credit scores. Maria, please.
Great. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to join you all. My name is Maria. I work at the International Rescue Committee as the Program Officer for Financial Capabilities, and I oversee the Supporting Access to Financial Empowerment project. So a little bit about the International Rescue Committee. Our main goal is to support newly arrived immigrant communities as they're starting their lives in the US and help them plan for a successful future. So what that looks like is we provide a lot of different services. We provide case management, education, employment services, and I will talk a little bit more today about some of the financial services that we can provide to families and individuals throughout the US. Before I move on, I just also wanted to note that the International Rescue Committee works internationally as well. We work in over 40 countries across the world, providing assistance for humanitarian and emergency relief. In the US, we have 29 offices, and we also have this SAFE project. So the SAFE project specifically works with families from any country and helping them really understand their money, understand their finances, and helps people make goals to accomplish what they'd like in the future with their money. So we do this through financial education. We have classes online. They are on Zoom, like we're on today. We have recordings of different financial topics. We do one-on-one financial coaching. So if you come to a class or after today, you have a question about something specific, you can come and meet with one of our financial coaches and they'll talk you through it. And we also have some loan products, which I'll also detail today. Great. So before we talk about those loans, we wanted to talk about one of these big financial topics that we get a lot of questions about, which is credit. Many of you have probably or may have heard about credit or started experiencing questions about credit. So really, I'm going to give a general overview. And if you would like more information after this, we have classes that go more in depth into credit, and you can also meet with a financial coach that can talk to you about your specific financial situation. So really, what is credit? Credit helps banks, lenders, and other service providers know if you can be trusted with the money that they're lending to you, or know more about if you're going to pay back on time. So credit, because they don't know you, right? These banks, they've never met you before. This is their way to see if you're going to be able to pay their money back on time. So there are a few groups that might ask about your credit. The big one are lenders or people that have loans and you're requesting money from. One example, right? When you want to buy a car, you might not have all the money ready. And so when you want to take out a loan, they're going to check your credit. Credit card companies will also check your credit. If you'd like to buy a home, they will check that. And there's some other cases too where your credit is important. Some of you may have tried to rent an apartment or would like to rent an apartment in the future. Sometimes landlords will check your credit just to see if they can expect you to pay their money back on time. So let's keep going. We're going to talk more about how do they know what your credit is. So there are two main ways people or these lenders and these service providers know what your credit looks like. The first is your credit score. This is a snapshot. It's just a number, and it gives you a grade of how well you have been doing in managing your credit and managing your finances. So as you see here, the highest you can get is an 850, while the lowest you'll usually see is 300. That being said, most people when they first arrive in the US, have no credit. So if when you check, it might say no score. And that is totally normal to see no score. Myself too, when I started using money in the US, I had no credit score, and that's totally okay. There are different ways you can build that up and build that trust. The other thing they look at when looking at your credit is your credit report. And this is more detail on all the different accounts you have open, if you're paying them back on time. And it gives you a little bit more information on how you're doing in managing those different accounts. So when you are applying for things, they'll usually look at your credit score, and oftentimes they'll look at your report to get more detail. And it's really important that you all also know that you can access both of these things for free anytime, really. And if you want more detail on that, we can, you can always meet with a coach and they can support you in checking these. So let's keep going. Let's talk more about that credit score. How do they get this number? So your credit score is calculated with a few different things. The first is and most important is your payment history. Are you paying your bills on time? Are you paying your loans, your credit cards, or that other money you owe on time and the amount that you're supposed to? So that's going to be the most important factor. The next piece is how much money do you owe? So for example, if you have a credit card, they don't want to see you spending all the money on the credit card. That looks like, oh, there's an emergency or there's a problem. What they really want to see is that you're using a small amount that is manageable for you. The next thing they look at is new credit. So they want to see that you're using these different accounts, like you have a credit card that you're using regularly, or you have a loan that you have been paying over time. They want to see that you're actively using it. The next piece, length of credit history. This one's tough for those of you that are newly arrived or arrived recently. This just shows how long you've been in the credit system. So for most, it's not the most important thing they look at, so don't stress about it. But what's important is you start early. Once you have income coming in and you're able to manage, you can start considering some credit products to help you build this history. And then the last thing they look at is a mix. They want to see that you can manage different types of credit, such as a credit card, a loan. They're a little different, so they want to see you can manage both of them effectively. So all of this together makes your score. What I will say is what's most important is keeping track. I have never had an 850 credit score, a perfect score. You don't need a perfect score. What's really good to aim for is to try to get into the high 600, 700 range. That will give you more flexibility when it comes to getting loans or credit cards or when you're applying for a new apartment. So just keeping that in mind. Okay, let's keep going. So we only have
Before we
yeah.
transition, I want to invite Dima, Katya, or Carolina to come onto the main speaker and invite people to go into Ukrainian or Russian. We're getting some questions about that of how to get into the right room. So we just want to make sure. So I'm going to go back real quick. So Carolina, Dima, please also know that it is in the chat window.
In the main room?
Yes, so you're here. Yeah, please go ahead and offer folks how to get into the right space. Katya, Carolina, or Dima, are you able to come and say that verbally as well, please?
Yep, Hannah Katya is announcing it.
I'm not hearing it in the main room.
Okay, I was able to hear it.
We'll post a couple reminders as people continue to come in. We want to make sure everyone can receive the content. Thank you, Maria. There you are.
Yeah, of course. And of course, we want everyone to understand credit, and it's not the easiest concept, but like I said, we do have some translated materials that we'll also send out to you that puts all of this in more detail. And if you have questions, again, you can always contact us, and we can explain it further. So we talked about credit and your score and report, but to really the key tips for you to build your credit is are first to use it. You can't have a credit history if you're not using it. So consider some credit building products or different credit products, such as a loan or a credit card. We will talk about some loans in a minute. And make it manageable, something that you can easily manage with the money you have. You don't need to take out $100,000 loan. You want it to be something that works for you and your family. The next thing is to make sure you are paying your bills on time. So technically, your rent and utility bills do not affect your credit if you're paying them on time. The problem is, if you miss payments, then they can affect your credit. So that is tricky. But when it comes to credit cards and loans and other things like that, paying on time is going to be the best way to get that score. Lastly, you want to keep your debt low. You don't want to take out too much money. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You can really do this by monitoring your credit, only making small purchases with cards and things like that. And you'll see soon that your score will slowly go up. It will take some time, but it'll go up over time. So those are our quick for credit building. And now we're going to talk a little bit about some loan products that you need credit that helps with your credit, but some loan products that IRC offers that could help support you in your journey in the US. So the IRC has a lending arm called the Center for Economic Opportunity. It is considered a community development financial institution that is licensed to provide loans in 14 different states, including California, a lot of the West Coast. They provide a lot of different loan products, which I'll go over in the next slide. And really the way to access is to meet with a financial coach and attend a credit class. So this is a snapshot, but a more in-depth credit class. So let's go to the next slide. So here are our products. There's a lot on this slide. You don't have to memorize it. We have this on our website as well, but we offer a range of different loans First, we have our credit building loan. So if you're really looking to build that credit score, this is the easiest loan to get. It's $100, 0% interest, and you pay it over 6 months. So it's very easy, about $16 a month. We also have loans for other things, as you see here. I think one of the most popular loans, and many of you are likely might be interested in this one, is our auto loan, which we offer for up to $20,000. And the range of interest is 5.49% to 8.99%. If you arrived in the last 2 years, you are eligible for some discounts, as is on here. So the really great thing about CEO is that they don't require you have a credit score to get one of their loans. So if you go to a car dealership, many times they will ask for your income, they will ask for your credit, and they'll give you a rate based on that. With CEO, they don't care about your credit so much. So just to note that, so you all are aware. So let's keep going. We'll talk more about the eligibility and then we'll wrap it up. So like we said, to be eligible for these loans, you first need to meet with a financial coach, and they want to see some proof of income. And it can be a pay stub, could be a job offer letter, whatever you might have that shows that you will have a way to pay back these loans on time. So for especially for auto loans, they will also ask to see a driver's license. If you are interested in these or have questions, not just about these loan products, but other loan products from other banks and financial institutions, you can always set up a time to meet with a financial coach to discuss in more detail. So let's go to the next. We'll keep going. We'll go to one. So like I mentioned, for that auto loan, there are a few requirements, same as I mentioned earlier, with the addition of the auto purchase class and the driver's license. So we don't want you to take out a loan if it's not financially feasible for you. So again, that is why meeting with a coach is so important, who can talk you through the process and support you and answer any questions you have. So if you're interested in learning more about any not just credit or auto loans, if you're interested in learning about other financial topics, you are welcome to contact us at the SAFE Project. We have a website, safeirc.org. Right now, the website is in English, Dari, Pashto, and Spanish. But if you need assistance in Ukrainian or Russian, you can send us a message on WhatsApp or by email and let us know, and we will have an interpreter available so we can speak with you. We can help with a range of different topics, not just credit and auto loans. We can help for questions related to taxes or banking and other things as they come up. So with that, I can pause here if there are any questions. I know that was a lot of information, but I'll pause here.
what can be done if you learn your credit score um, is bad? What is the best next step to take to help improve your credit score?
So, yeah, so if you have maybe a low credit score or no credit score, um, you can always get that number up. It depends on your situation. The first thing is to always look at your credit report and see what is going on. If there are any bills that you can get back on track and pay on time, or if you don't have any bills, it might just be taking out a credit building loan or a secure card to establish that credit history. So it will depend on your situation, but we've seen that after 6 months of working on your credit, people's scores usually go up pretty considerably. So don't fret or don't be upset if your score doesn't look too good right now. There's always a way to get it higher up. Yeah, thank you
And we
for the
had another
question.
comment. Yeah, Carolina, go ahead.
Yeah, we got another question. The question was, who can qualify?
Yeah, so for the loans that we mentioned, there is no immigration requirement. There is no documentation requirement. So, like I mentioned, they will ask for some type of photo ID. They will take a social security number or an ITIN. If you don't have either, they are okay with that as well. Um, Really, what they care about is seeing the ability to pay the loan back, and they want to see how it fits in with your financial goals. So it is flexible.
We just got another question here. And so the first question is, what is an immigrant loan? If you can answer that, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Sure. The immigration loan is a little tricky. That one is meant for people that are working with IRC immigration staff on their case, and it's meant to pay for USCIS fees. So that loan is specifically for fees related to USCIS applications.
And the next question is it good for your credit score to have 4 to 5 active credit cards? So let's talk about having multiple credit cards and then really effective ways to build positive credit.
It definitely can be if you're paying all of those on time, if you're not using a lot of the money and you're able to manage them, then those will definitely help build your credit. You don't need 4 to 5 credit cards though. So they recommend having the best way to build is to have 3 different credit lines. So that can be one loan, 2 credit cards, a mix in that way. But really having starting with one is going to build your score, and then adding on as it's manageable for you. Yeah, great questions though.
And a question regarding the loan itself. Do you give the loan, so the amount, to the borrower or to the vendor on behalf of the borrower? So when a loan is taken out, who does it go to? And Maria, I know you have many products, so if you could just mention as well how those products might impact that.
Sure. So for every loan except the auto loan and the auto refinance, the money goes directly to the borrower. So all the other loans, the cash goes to the person that applied. For the auto loan and auto refinance, it goes to the seller. of the car. The person that is taking the loan their name is on the title, and then CEO's name is listed as a lien holder, meaning that this person, owes money for the car to CEO. So usually with an auto loan, you get approved, and then it's kind of like a pre-approval. You get a letter, and you have 2 to 3 months to go shop for your car. So you take the letter when you go to a dealership, and you can say, I've got my loan ready to go, and you can use that. So the money will go straight to the dealership or seller.
And thank you. Final question for this section is, how does having a bank account in another country impact credit scores or ability to access loans?
Yeah, so having a bank account in any country is great, right? Obviously, it's safer to manage your money. Having a bank account abroad is not going to affect your credit really much in the US. What I do note is that sometimes there are problems when you are applying for credit or a loan in the US. Oftentimes they will want to do direct deposit or submit payment directly to your bank. And sometimes it doesn't work well with foreign banks. And so that's the one drawback there, is that the lender that you're getting money from might have some trouble either getting the payments from a foreign bank or depositing the money into the bank. So, I usually recommend, if you're going to be in the US for some time, that you also get a US bank account. It will make accessing your money much easier day to day. Yeah. But if you have, again, more specific questions on your situation, please contact us. I'll put our contact info in the chat again, and we'll send it out. But on the topic, we talked a lot about auto loans. Something really important to consider is when you have a car, it's really important. There's a lot of costs related to your car. And one of those is insurance. And we're going to talk a little bit more, or Amy's going to talk more about auto insurance and how to access that. And it's important to know, not just for the cost, but for safety reasons as well, that we should all make sure we're having auto insurance. So I'm going to pass it along. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. That was a perfect introduction to this next portion of this presentation. And good morning to everybody who is currently on here. My name is Amy. I am the program manager for the California Department of Insurance for the California Low Cost Auto Program. So during this section, we are going to cover what is the California Department of Insurance, the reason why you need to have insurance, the program itself as an option for you when you are driving around in California, how to qualify and how to apply, and at the end, a Q&A, so that way I can answer any questions that is not covered during this. So who is the California Department of Insurance? It's a really good question, because we are a state department that regulates, which I think the best way to put that is that we keep in order all lines of insurance. Our main job is to protect consumers. We make sure that the insurance companies treat customers fairly and follow the law. We also investigate complaints, and we help consumers, such as yourself, with insurance-related issues. We are one of the largest insurance markets in the world, right after China. So as you can imagine, we do have a lot to do. And with that, we also have a lot to enforce. We want to make sure that everyone is safe and protected. We're taking action for those that break the rules. We also want to educate and inform. So California Department of Insurance, otherwise known as CDI, provides information such as right now to help the public understand their options, their rights, and responsibilities. We also do offer resources such as this program. So the reason why you need to have insurance. Number one, it's the law when in California. You have to have proof of financial responsibility. The minimum for that is liability insurance. And if you don't, there are penalties or fines that may occur if you do not have insurance while driving and you either get pulled over or you get into an accident. We're going to talk about what is liability insurance. It is essentially a safety net for unexpected accidents or mistakes, which I have done, you may have done. I hope no one never needs to use it, but this is just for protection for when those times occur. It's a type of insurance that helps protect you financially if you accidentally harm someone or damage their property. So how does it help? One is the coverage. So if you do get into an accident and you are at fault, this does help with the payments. And I know this is a lot of information currently on the screen, so I would recommend to read this at your own time. But for now, we're just going to go over the basics of it. This is to cover the cost, the physical cost of the car if you are held accountable for the accident. It does not cover medical, and it does not cover your own vehicle. There is additional optional coverage, but that can be discussed with an agent to see what best fits for you. The LCA specifically, which is California Low Cost Auto, offers up to $10,000 per person in case of bodily injury, up to $20,000 per accident in case of bodily injury or death, and this up to $3,000 for the property damage. So it also offers financial protection. Instead of having to pay for someone's car's repairs out of your own pocket, this will help assist to cover the expense up to the policy limit. And also, it is just a peace of mind when you are driving. You don't want to get pulled over. There are issues with the law if you do get pulled over, and you can get fined. And also your registration can be taken away. We'll get a little bit more into that in the next slide, but this is just so you can have the safety while driving. So now going into the program. The CLCA was created in 1999 by the state legislator in California. Its purpose is to offer affordable, low-cost liability insurance. We want to make sure that everybody out in the road is insured, and we don't want money to be an issue as to why they can't afford it. It is a state program, so you do know that you have that security that this is going to protect you. So how do you qualify? You do need to have a valid license or be AB60. Now you may be asking, what is AB60? AB60 driver's license are for individuals who are unable to provide proof of legal presence in the United States, but who meet California DMV requirements and are able to provide proof of identity and California residency. The next one is going to be if you have a vehicle value of $25,000 or less. The next one is income guidelines, which can be found on the website, and we'll talk a little bit more in the next slide. And you have to be at least 16 years of age. To get a license over here in California or in the United States, you do have to be at least 16. They do recommend that it is 18. So that way you can go, you do get a special discount if you've been driving for 3 years or more. You also, a very big one is you have to be a good driver. You cannot have any previous incidents as long as you have been in this state. So if you guys have gotten to an accident in however long you've been here, that will need to be discussed with your agent or online to see if you still qualify. Now this is a lot to take in, but I wanted to show you that depending on your location, that determines the policy number for how much you have to pay. Online, you can find a very easy rate calculator, which can be translated into Russian. And if you need Ukrainian, you can reach out to the Department of Insurance, so that way we can provide translation services. But some of the premiums are what you have to pay for a year. They can go anywhere between $232 to $932 a year. So that is for the entirety. And for income eligibility, we are going to talk a little bit more about it, but that is based off of federal poverty guidelines. When you meet a certain threshold, it all depends on how many people are in your household. So when an example is currently on the screen, if you have one person and you make up to $36,450, and you can read from there on up. So that is one way to determine if you're eligible. You can go to the next slide. So what do you need to apply? One, you need to have the license. You need to have the proof of documentation that you are eligible to drive. You need a valid registration, which can be acquired at the California Department of Motor Vehicles. You need to have the proof of income, and there are a multitude of ways to show different forms of proof of income. So if you are on other state programs that are in need of financial assistance, such as CalFresh, Medi-Cal, there's an entire list on our website. You would immediately become certified for it. And you do also need to have a down payment of 20% of whatever your annual premium is. Next slide. So for the proof of income documents that I was speaking of beforehand, one of them is a paycheck, W-2, 1099. If you do need additional assistance in figuring out which documents are best, we do have a hotline. We also have a chat box. And once while these services may not be initially provided in Russian or Ukrainian, you can reach out to us. And we are also in the process of finding agents who speak languages that would be more comfortable for you. And we are intending on providing that within the next couple months to make sure that you guys are as comfortable discussing this topic. So what I was mentioning is the CalFresh, CalWorks. You are immediately certified if you are part of these programs. So how do you apply? You can go online to mylowcostauto.com and you can take a 7-question eligibility questionnaire. This can also be translated immediately into Russian, so that way you can check right now and see if you do qualify. So this can be 100% online, or you can contact a local agent, whichever one is more comfortable for you. And from there, we can determine if you are, and we get you assigned to an insurance carrier, which will then get you on the road legally. So if you need any more information about CLCA, you do have the website at mylowcostauto.com, and you also have the phone number for 866-602-8861. And with that, if there are any questions and answers.
Thank you, Amy. A question that we've received previously is if a foreign driver's license would qualify under these eligibility requirements?
To my knowledge, it would have to be a California valid license. So you can work with a local agent to transfer that over or see how you can get that. But I do apologize. This is a program that is meant to be specifically just for California residents. So during this process,
No.
we can assist you in whatever we can. We just do have some guidelines and rules we have to abide by.
Absolutely. And if living in California, it is best to go ahead and receive a California driver's license. It benefits you in a lot of ways, more than just the ability to take part in this program. If one person in the household is insured, are other drivers of that car insured?
So when it comes down to CLCA, if you do want to apply for it, you have to have all the cars that are insured under this individual's name to be covered under CLCA. And you also can only do a maximum of 2 cars.
Got it. Are there any other questions at this time? You are also welcome to type questions in Russian or Ukrainian. Okay, we'll have time for another question and an answer at the very end as well. Amy, thank you. We appreciate you. And we're going to continue on. Our final topic for today is how to avoid scams and frauds. So, Daria, thank you. And over to you for the last few minutes of this presentation.
Thank you. And I'm going to go a little bit faster on the presentation because I'm in the interest of time. So I'll just start with the overview. Why should we have insurance? And tell you how to protect yourself from fraud. So next slide, please. So why should we buy insurance? It is to protect ourselves, protect our assets and our loved ones, okay, to attain peace of mind and be financially okay and stable. So as Amy said, that car insurance is a must, it's a law, and it could save a car owner or user from financial loss in case of an accident. And it's a law, liability insurance is a law. Home insurance provides you coverage for damage to your home, such as personal property and liability coverage for injuries or property damage that occur on the property. So if something happens to your home, this insurance helps you recover that. Health insurance, which is a medical cost coming being an immigrant, you already know it's a very high cost and it is very hard if you don't have the insurance because bills could cause financial hardship. There is a disability insurance that sometimes people are not aware of, and that provides an income if you cannot work due to an injury or illness. Something happens to you, then also you will get some income if you have the disability insurance. And then life insurance, which most of us know that it provides money to the beneficiaries in the event if person passes away. So now I want to talk to you about how the Department of Insurance improves lives of California. Amy already said what we do, but I just want to say a little bit that Department of Insurance does not sell insurance. We just make sure the insurance companies and the agents who are selling insurance and brokers who do the right thing, and they follow the California state insurance law. So in other words, we regulate all the agents and brokers who are selling insurance to you, whether it's an auto insurance, home insurance, we are making sure they are doing it lawfully. And we also, if you feel like it's not done right, we also take your complaint and investigate what's wrong, okay? But remember, we cannot make an insurance company sell insurance to you, okay? Next slide. So what is fraud? It's how to protect yourself from being a victim of fraud. So due to many of new immigrants, and I was an immigrant at one time, when you don't speak the language or read in English, it is very hard to understand the fraud part because we are raised in a different culture. So in order for that, we need to be educated as what is fraud, because it's a different culture, it's a different country. So for example, if you go to a doctor's office and you pay attention to the services you are receiving. So when you go to the doctor's office, be very focused on what you are receiving and how many times are you going, because sometimes you don't want your insurance to be charged for services you did not receive. For example, if you go to the doctor's office once and you receive a bill from the insurance company that says you went 8 times, you need to recognize that and report it, because sometimes people can overcharge or overput those things. Also, when we are talking to the insurance companies for benefits, asking them for auto insurance, home insurance, or when something has gone wrong in our home and we feel like that we need to get the insurance money, or when we go to the doctors, whatever we go and we are buying insurance from an insurance company, we have to be truthful. We have to say whatever it is. So for benefits, if we are not entitled for certain benefits, we feel like, so we cannot say that we need that or we want that just because lying, if we do that, even if we do not receive cash, but we receive some other benefits, it's considered a fraud. So we have to be very careful about how things can be fraud. So we have to be truthful, not lie to the insurance companies when we are buying the insurance, okay? And then other insurance scams that happen is really, we come to America and we think it doesn't, but it does. And that's called premium theft. It occurs when we buy an insurance policy from an agent or broker, and they never actually buy or place the policy with the insurance company. Like, we give them money and we are thinking they have given us the receipt, but actually, and we are getting the statements, but honestly, these agents have not bought the insurance for us, and they are not licensed. Maybe they're licensed or not, but they can do these things to steal money. And at Department of Insurance, we arrest and prosecute agents who do that, and that's a crime. So we want you to be very careful about that. That when you are buying an insurance, you check the license at our CDI website, okay? Because it is very important for the agent to have the license. And also auto insurance fraud. Sometimes people think that they can just come and it looks like it's an accident, but some people have made it look like an accident. And then at that time, if you think something is not right, take a deep breath. Don't feel rushed any decision. Don't admit to your fault. Just exchange the information, but don't tell them all about your insurance policy thing. And also another fraud that happens a lot, that people call you saying you have a vehicle warranty that is expired. Remember that vehicle contacts cannot be sold on the phones through robocalls. So be very careful when people call you and said, we are here to reach you for your car extended warranty. And it is illegal in California to sell any policy on the phone. And just some signs of warning signs are, that check the status, don't become a victim, check the status. Like I said, answer the questions to the insurance company thoroughly and truthfully, get everything in right. And if you have any problem, call us and we will walk through you in your language. Ask questions. If somebody's pressuring you, this is not the right time to buy the insurance, okay? And don't sign anything you don't understand. And just wanted to, because I know it's an interest on time, just wanted to say that please be very careful when you fill out the form. Don't, next slide, please. When you fill out the form, don't leave any blank space and don't pay cash for anything. And I just want you to know that our contact information is www.insurance.ca.gov and 800-927-4357. So again, I went fast, www.insurance.ca.gov. Any question you have, just call us. And whenever you get somebody on the call, don't be polite, be stingy about your personal information. Hang up the phone if you feel it's a fraud call or something like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daria. That was fantastic. And there's so many places we really want to emphasize. Make sure who you're talking with is valid, right? It's okay to ask, follow-up questions. A lot of things when you're new to the country, many people for programs and services will need to ask questions about you and personal details and things. So it's okay to ask why. So feel free, always to do that and to contact local agencies as well, especially insurance. Drea, go ahead.
Also, I want to add that even if people are calling in your language, because nowadays new scam, I say that to my community member, if people are calling in Russian and Ukrainian, then also be very careful because we get very trusting when people speak our language, but you have to be very careful at that time too.
Thank you. Well, we have just a couple moments left. I want to say thank you to the presenters, and you will receive the links after, but please take a moment and complete the survey. The link has been placed in the chat. You can also scan the QR code with your smart device. Scan the QR code. It will take you to the survey. When you complete this information, it helps us improve. And it's also a space where you can ask more questions or request topics for the future. The topics we're selecting are based on what individuals are asking for. So please complete that. Thank you for your time today. We will send you a follow-up email with the slides, contact information, and websites listed here today. So on behalf of Solvera, California Department of Insurance, Nova Ukraine, and the International Rescue Committee, thank you for joining today. We look forward to seeing your responses in the survey. Goodbye.